Going on, guys? I'm back at you again, and we're gonna talk some more about some free agency moves. So far, it's been crazy. We're gonna go through all free agency up until I think it'll be done on Friday, or maybe it's next week. I gotta look into that. But it just started today, so we'll look down the list and see where people are going. But the big trade that happened with DK to the Steelers, that was a big time trade. So now the Steelers got Pickens and they got DK Metcalf. So now they just need to figure out their quarterback situation. Do they just stick with Russell Wilson? Because Wilson has a history with DK and they played well together, and he's already had history with Pickens. I would say that the Steelers would be a scary, tough team to deal with if they end up sticking with Russell Wilson. And the other option they have is Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers with two big body receivers, I like that, honestly. I could see the Steelers being good with Aaron Rodgers or Russell Wilson. Who would I want more out of the two? Who's ever healthier, honestly. But we saw what Russell could do with this team last year, and there's a ceiling to that. I'm very interested to seeing what Aaron Rodgers can do with an offense that's built, and he has a defense, a good coach. I really want to see if he still has it in him. Because if he can't be successful with the Steelers, he's not going to be successful anywhere. I know he really wanted to go to the Rams. It was reported that was the team he really wanted to go to. He would have had success there for sure. Especially the fact that Devontae ended up there. We know he plays well with him. And if he couldn't figure out Puka, people would have blamed Aaron Rodgers. So with that, and I would have loved to see Aaron Rodgers with McVay, because McVay does well with anybody. It's crazy. So Milton Williams from the Eagles got signed by the Patriots. So that the Patriots are out here making moves. They got him, and they ended up getting that pass rusher from the Titans, guys. So that's Vrabel bringing one of his guys over from Tennessee. And Harold Landry, I think his name is, he's one of the better pass rushers. He was just on a terrible team. They were always on the field. So you can't blame him for always being tired. Sam Darnold ends up going to Seattle. In my opinion, I think that he ended up in a good spot with Minnesota, and I think he's going to go back to the same old Sam Darnold that we know him from. Because Seattle, think about it, they have McDonald, he's a good coach, but he can't just be the offensive coordinator. So I don't know. There's just something about Kevin O'Connell. He's able to make it work with any quarterback. I don't have that same confidence with Seattle. They just shipped off DK Metcalf. Tyler Lockett is gone. So right now, who is Sam Darnold going to throw to? Because Justin Jefferson is no longer there. So literally right now, the Seattle Seahawks are starting from zero again. So I know they're gonna draft guys. Maybe they draft two rookie receivers. We know there's a lot of receivers in this draft. So that's the only thing that scares me with the Seattle move right here. You got rid of Geno Smith, right? We knew that was gonna happen. You got rid of both of your starting receivers. You know what I'm saying? They got rid of some linemen, defensive players. I just don't know what Seattle's doing from here. Feels like they're starting over, and they're swinging for the fences with Sam Darnold. I just don't know, guys. This is a big time question mark. Dan Moore is a tackle. Pittsburgh let him go. So any quarterback that signs there won't be happy about that. Tennessee ends up getting them. Tennessee, they have a lot of work to do. Oh, yeah, Josh Sweat just got signed to Arizona. They needed an edge rusher. So the edge rusher right there, they got him. They were going to draft one at 12. Now they don't need to, so they signed him. Probably more than what he's worth. $76 million is a lot of money. He got a 41 guaranteed. It might be probably overpriced. Definitely overpriced. But they needed that. Cameron Bynum, safety. Minnesota letting some guys go. Indy picks him up. I don't think that really changes much for Indy, but they needed a safety. Carlton Davis, Detroit lets him go to New England. So it'll be interesting to see what he does there. Let's go. So the Giants get a corner. Carolina gets a safety. Oh, yeah, this guy right here, Deo. This guy right here didn't have a lot of big numbers, but he's one of those guys that, like, if you have good defensive backs and a good defensive coach, he's going to make a lot of noise and be in the backfield, like living there. So Chicago gave him a lot of money based on potential because he's a very athletic guy. Hell, the guy got 39-inch long arms, bro. Think about it. His arms are 39 inches long. That's insane. And he's an outside linebacker. So he could push guys, keep guys away from him, throw them out of the way, and reach around, make tackles, grab the quarterback. Like, he's a freak of nature, this guy. DJ Reed, the Jets let him go, and the Detroit Lions pick him up. Halafanga ends up going to Denver. I'm surprised the Niners let him go. But then again, he was hurt a lot of the last year, and the Niners had a bunch of nobodies playing back there, and they were actually playing well. But as a whole, the team wasn't playing well. It seems as if the Niners are just letting all their players go and just starting over. Kinlaw was also on the Niners 2 seasons ago, and the Jets let him go to Washington. Now, the Jets also let Devontae walk. They released him. Now he goes to the Rams. The Rams are going to be a Super Bowl contender, guys. The Rams are going to definitely be in the talks for a Super Bowl. They were one play away from beating the Eagles, guys. I was going to pick them, but I couldn't. I went with the Eagles. I just couldn't see it happening. I knew that the Rams were like a piece or two away. If they had Devontae last year, okay, maybe this is all different. You feel me? And I told you it's going to be a big time free agency this year. This probably might be the biggest free agency in a while, and like probably a few years. So what do we got here? Devontae. Oh, here's Harold Landry. I was talking about this guy. So New England got him. He's probably one of the top 5 pass rushers in free agency right now. Easily top 5. Probably top 3, I'd say. Dahlman, he's a good center. Chicago got him. Justin Fields, another big signing right here. The Jets were able to sign him for 4 years. So now Justin Fields has the chance to be the guy here. And I remember the Jets wanted to draft him, but they had the other kid, so they kind of had to bite that bullet. But now Justin Fields, you get to come to New York. You got Garrett Wilson over there, right? You got Breece Hall. You got a bunch of young guys you can build and grow with. So let's see what he can do. Let's see who else the Giants. Why do I keep saying that? Let's see who the Jets pick up. They could go anywhere in the draft. Now that they have the quarterback, they don't have to draft quarterback now. They really don't. They could, but I don't see why they would. Just stick with Justin. He's 25, 26. You got him for 4 years. Let's see what he can do, and let's see where he is at 30 years old, you know. I think you can get a good 3-4 years out of him, and then we'll reevaluate after that and see if he can continue or we go to the next guy. But 4 years, guy like this, dual threat, he's going to, if nothing else, it's going to be a fun watch. Because the Jets have not been fun to watch in years. I'm talking since Braylon Edwards, you feel me, Michael Vick. They haven't been fun to watch in over a decade since they've had some fun players. The Rex Ryan era was probably the last time they were any fun to watch. With Justin Fields, he provides you, he's going to bring asses in the seats, right? He's going to extend plays. He's going to find guys open. And there's going to be plays in the rig, games in the rig where he sits there and gets sacked and acts like he can't see wide open players. We're going to get those games too. But for the by and large, we're going to see a lot of big, extended, fun plays with this Jets team. Let's see here. Baltimore lets a lineman go to Jacksonville. Oh yeah, here's a big signing right here. Josh Palmer from the Chargers to the Buffalo Bills, big body receiver. So now Josh Allen has 2 big body guys, a 6'3" guy, and then Palmer, I think he's a 6'5" guy. So now he has 2 big body guys, and they got their slot guys. So they're set at receiver. They could just draft for depth, but I would imagine they're going to sign more for needs. They're going to have to replace Von Miller. So they got some holes to fill, but the receiver room is done, in my opinion. Anything else they get is just added depth. Spillane goes to New England. That's a huge signing, guys. Spillane, I know he's 29, but for Los Angeles, he's been the heart and soul of their defense. And he's a proven player for the last 3 years. I don't know if he starts to hit the wall and decline from here, but if he can give him another few years, this helps New England a lot. So New England has made 3-4 signings already that just makes them better. And I'm excited to see who they draft. It's going to be a fun draft because Michael Vrabel, he knows what he's doing, man. I'm in the New England area. I'm a New England guy, so I mean, I don't root for any team, obviously, but it's cool when things around you in your area are happening. That's what I can say about that. So it's pretty cool. So we'll see what they do. I don't know where they're gonna go in the draft. I would say wide receiver or tight end because they have no weapons. I think if I'm the Patriots, my first 4 picks are offensive players. In free agency, I'm looking for linemen. I'm looking to fix my O-line in free agency and D-line. That's what I would do. Proven guys on the O-line, D-line, and then you draft wide receivers and running backs. They probably can go with Stevenson one more year because he's a big bruiser. So you can probably go Stevenson this year and get it back next year. So this year you got to draft 2 wide receivers. That whole wide receiver room in New England has to go. If we're being honest, maybe you sign one of these big names and you draft 1 or 2 guys and now you're ready to go. But they might need a tight end because I don't know about Hunter Henry. I haven't really been big on him since he was on the Chargers. I thought after that injury he got in the Chargers, he just wasn't the same. And then Bill Belichick took a chance on him. I don't even know if he's still on the team. But even if he is, I think they still need a tight end of the future. So if you can get 3 new wideouts and a tight end, New England, right? And then whatever else you have with your draft picks, just fill those needs. They're going to be just fine. I think New England's going to be right in the picture again, guys. You guys got to understand, Michael Vrabel knows what he's doing, and he's a big part of the NFL plans for the future. The fact that he's the New England coach, they hyped him up so much, and they just let go of a New England guy before him. Like, he's going to be there for a long time, guys. He's probably going to be the next Belichick. Going to be there for the next 30 years because he's not an old guy. He's like 50, you know what I mean? So he can do this for another 20 years at least if he wants. All right, next, Jalen Moore. So lineman, so that's a left tackle, but we already know Trent Williams is the guy. So Jalen Moore is nothing more than a backup. But KC ends up picking him up. So I don't know if they're thinking we can start this guy. That'd be weird to me. Jordan Lewis, I don't think he's that good of a corner. Jacksonville totally overpaid for Jordan Lewis. Like, dude's turning 30 years old. You gave him $30 million. Like, he hasn't made a play in years, man. He's really not $30 million good. That's how you know a lot of these contracts are BS. Poona Ford's decent. Rams picked him up. He'll be fine. Moses from the Jets goes to New England. So, like I said, New England is fixing their O-line and their D-line. Their front 7 and their O-line is getting fixed through free agency. New England right now is so far winning free agency, guys. The Jets only signed 1 guy. They're not doing well. New England and the Rams right now are the front runners, I'd say. New England is literally killing it right now, guys. They're everywhere on this list. New England, New England, New England, New England. They're trying to compete this year, guys. I like to see it. I love it, man. I told you guys they'd compete this year. Eric Murray. Let's see. Hassan Riddick goes to Tampa Bay. So we'll see how that goes. De'Ami Brown goes to Jacksonville. So Jacksonville's actually making some moves. Let's see. Houston making moves as well. Here we go. So they get Tremont and Sheldon Rankins. So help on the defensive side. Minnesota gets a backup QB. Derek Barnett stays with Houston. Alright, so we got a lot of signings today. Braxton Berrios, Elijah Mitchell. Oh, that's a running back. Okay, so alright, so KC's like, we need more help at running back. Houston gets the speed demon, Berrios. And this is who's available, guys. So we saw who was signed. We'll make another video tomorrow and we'll talk about what else is going on. But there's still a lot of good names here, guys. I would say for day one, New England definitely won day one, guys. Day one, like I don't think there's any question about that. New England definitely won day one. The Jets did a good job getting their quarterback, but they still have much work to do. Bills, they got their receiver. Miami's still not really doing much, and they need some help at corner. I think they want to pair somebody with what's his name, Jalen Ramsey. So where's that guy that they're probably gonna sign? Charvarius Ward. I think he's gonna end up in Miami. But there's a bunch of teams that want him. I know the Jets would want him to pair him up with Sauce Gardner. They just lost DJ Reed too, so I think Charvarius Ward ends up in the NFC or AFC East. That's just what I think. I could be wrong, but that's what I think. Stephon Diggs, he can go somewhere, like I don't know. He wants to win now, but I'm thinking in terms of what a team needs. Seattle needs receivers, right? Who else? New England, right? Stephon can go to Seattle. He can go to New England. I don't know why Houston let him go. That was kind of weird to me. He can go to Minnesota, back home where he went, where they drafted him and play with JJ. He could go. Where else could he go that could make sense? Like there's specific spots he would need to go. Like obviously he wants a quarterback, but if you're a team that needs a receiver, Stephon Diggs, man, it's hard to let that go. Now Joey Bosa, I think he's gonna hold off and take a little less money and go play with his brother in San Francisco. I really think that's what's going to happen. San Fran released some guys to relieve cap room to make this happen. I think they're going to pair the brothers up, to make it more interesting and fun and bring some more asses in the seats and excitement. I mean, it's not going to be a Super Bowl winning move, but it's going to be a good move if they make it happen. You have both Bosa brothers coming at you. Bring some of that Ohio State magic back. Keenan Allen's another guy. Amari Cooper, I really think he should be back at Dallas. If Dallas is smart, they'll sign Amari or Stephon. Keenan, I don't know if Keenan Allen would fit there just because they already have their route runner. Because CeeDee Lamb's a great route runner. So you got your route runner. You want to build your receiving core like a basketball team. You don't want the same type of player. So you got your route runner. You want maybe a big body guy and then get a speed guy, You want different types of players. So, I don't know. I think they need one of those two guys. That would help Dak so much. Like, I guarantee you, if the Cowboys, let's say they either trade Dak for a first-round pick and get Shedeur, but if they're going to keep Dak, then you got to draft Ashton Jeanty at running back. So you draft Ashton Jeanty, and then you got to sign a receiver. If you're Dallas, you have to. You just can't not sign one of these receivers. If you can draft Jeanty and get a receiver and then draft a tight end in the second round, and then maybe draft some linemen because you got to fill Zach Martin's void. You got to fill Lawrence's space, DeMarcus Lawrence. So there's some holes you got to fill. But if you can get those three things to happen, this Dallas team could turn it around. But if they sit on their hands and think that, I'm going to let it come to me, it's going to be a miserable time and a miserable year. Brandon Cooks, I could see him landing with the Rams for a year, be their slot guy. I could see him back with the Saints. I could see him I could see him back with New England for a year. There's a lot of spots he can go. But, yeah, we're just going to have to see. Grady Jarrett, I could see him going to the Cowboys, right? I could also see him with the Rams. I could see him with New England, because New England, we need a D-tackle in this New England area, right? So, look for New England to make some crazy moves coming in. Von Miller's still there. Teams need edge rushers. The Jets, they just let go of Hassan Riddick. Look for them to make a move on Von Miller for a year or two, right? Even Grady Jarrett. They got Big Q there. You could pair Grady Jarrett and Big Q together. That would be such a problem to deal with. You got Tyler Lockett, Brandon Sheriff, another good lineman. Evan Engram, fast, speedy tight end. Matthew Judon is still available. Somebody is going to score with this. I don't know who's going to get him. Maybe he goes back to the Ravens on a smaller contract. But every team can go for an edge guy. But, yeah, guys, we're going to leave it off here. See, we got DeMarcus, Preston, DeAndre. There's still so many good players. Darius, Ryan Kelly. So, between tomorrow, right? Between tomorrow and Wednesday and Thursday, so many moves are going to happen. And we're going to cover them when I get out of work. And we'll go from there, guys. Other than that, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.